In the U.S., even somewhat in the Caribbean, it's a competitive vibe first. It's like you kind of have to get across this hurdle of competitiveness before someone's willing to either let you into their world or work with you.
That's crazy.
Here in the UK, I haven't had that issue at all.
Between the Grooves is hosted by James Curtis, music director and morning man in the Greater Toronto Area on Joy Radio, and Aisha Woods, Grammy-nominated singer, songwriter, and musician. Together, they talk with artists and industry insiders to discover our connection between music and faith. You can connect with us on Facebook or X at Between Grooves and on Instagram at Between Grooves Pod. Now, here's James and Aisha.
Welcome back to Between the Grooves.
Hello, hello. How are you, James?
I'm doing good. Aisha, how you doing?
I'm great. I can't complain. I mean, I guess I could complain, but I'm not going to.
Yeah, why complain, right? It's too easy to do that. I try to be upbeat and positive.
Right.
Well, today we're going to be taking a little bit of a trip. It's a field trip for us.
Let's go.
Yeah, we're going to be visiting the UK on Between the Grooves this week. And this is one of your friends, Dwight Jones.
Yes, indeed. I'm looking forward to talking to Dwight. I've known Dwight quite some time, and we've worked together ever since I was an independent artist, before I ever even came on board with Goatee. And so it's been a while since we spoke. So let's get into it with Dwight Jones, all the way over in the UK.
Hey, good morning. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. This is Dwight?
Yes, it is.
Okay, Dwight, I've got a question. So
Yeah.
with being in the UK, and it's dreary for a lot of the year, rainy, and what does that do for creatives like us?
It can affect you if you let it.
Yeah.
Because, for instance, if you do a lot of work inside, if you're
Yes.
mostly inside, you may not notice it as much. Or if you are relying on like natural light,
Yeah.
you know it may affect you that way. But for me, it's kind of like a combination of both. I do a lot of work inside,
Sure.
but it affects me when I'm driving, when I'm outside. It's like when you have sunglasses and you have the protective coating to stop the ultraviolet rays.
Yes.
Okay, let me tell you what this feels like. If I put on sunglasses that have an ultraviolet filter,
Yes.
like it's I can feel it in my face. Because it feels headache, and then when I put my sunglasses, it disappears.
Really?
It immediately disappears. It's like it's something in the atmosphere, and it's got to do with the ultraviolet light or whatever it is. And I've only noticed it here in UK. We went to Italy for a short vacation a couple of years ago. It was not over there, and I've never experienced it in the US or in Bermuda. But out here, when you're driving, you can feel it. You can feel it.
Wow.
You feel it like around your just. It's almost like a tension sort of headache. It's not. It's not. It's not overt. It's very subtle. But if you put on sunglasses that have ultraviolet filter, it disappears immediately.
So
it's
Dwight,
weird.
Dwight, can I just ask why would you ever move to the UK? Honestly, like you're not painting a great picture right now, and I mean Bermuda, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? Why?
Bermuda is another world.
Yeah. Well, I get that question every time I tell somebody I'm from Bermuda.
It's a valid question. Like they're honestly thinking to themselves, why the heck would you move to the UK?
And trust me, I've asked myself that many times. But the short answer is that I've accomplished a lot in Bermuda, and for me, I pretty much did everything possible that I can do in terms of like reaching a certain level of satisfaction in my career or even in my purpose.
Okay.
I've done work for government agencies, political parties. I've done major shows, meaning providing sound, and managed major events at our national stadium. I've recorded a number of artists. I've had a pretty good studio, which was probably at the time one of the largest in the Caribbean during the time I had mine. I've done a lot of firsts, like we did a few album releases, and when I did my album releases, they were the proper album releases, and no one hadn't done anything like that prior to me doing it. I've represented my country as an artist internationally. I've toured with a band that I was in called Justice. I reached the ceiling creatively, and also I believe when it came to fulfilling my purpose. So I left because grow. I think that's the short answer. I needed to grow, and I had grown as much as I could in Bermuda.
So what did the UK offer you that, say, Nashville couldn't?
Good question.
Well, you guys you're in Canada, but Aisha, you're in the States.
Yes.
Okay, this is one thing I've noticed here in the UK. And I've done a lot of work in the US, in the Caribbean. I've done work with people from those areas. The thing I noticed that was different about the UK, there is a natural collaborative approach or vibe from the creative people here, and not competition.
I love that.
In the U.S., even somewhat in the Caribbean, it's a competitive vibe first. It's like you kind of have to get across this hurdle of competitiveness before someone's willing to either let you into their world or work with you.
That's crazy.
Here in the UK, I haven't had that issue at all. It's immediately, I want to work with you. It's no one's scared about you stepping on their toes or taking their idea. It's pure collaboration in my experience.
Camaraderie. That's like a breath of fresh air, to tell you.
Oh, yeah. It is. I mean, it's like, because sometimes in a situation you may want to work with someone. They're like, well, I'm not sure because, or you need to sign this agreement because I don't want no one to take my idea. And here is none of that, man. Yeah, not within the the people that I've worked with. The other reason was that the UK is nowhere near as big as the US, but there are so many places I have access to. I can go all over Europe. I can go down as far as Africa, very easily and inexpensively. And
that's wonderful.
You
just hop on the train and you're there.
Yeah. Or
quite literally.
Across. Yeah. So it's not like being boxed in Bermuda in 22 square miles, and I've worked with people, from the tip of the country to the, all corners. I even have had people come to my studio, here in Leicester when we had a commercial studio from as far as Southampton, came to us from Manchester, London, people, Birmingham, people traveled to come to where I was. But being here in Leicester, I'm pretty much kind of central, so I'm able to get to anywhere, basically within the country within 4 hours max.
That's nice.
Yeah, so I can.
And Aisha, that's rush hour.
Right.
Now, Dwight, you mentioned collaborations, and we've seen a lot of collaborations over the last few years, anyways, out of North America. And maybe the pandemic initiated some of that stuff, but we've seen a lot of collaborations, and even the bleeding over of different. I'm thinking of like Zach Williams, who's got that country vibe, but he's done some stuff with Dolly Parton.
Sure.
Yeah. And she's not really known in the Christian community as much as the country community. So there's that part, but we've seen a lot more collaborations than ever. I think personally, I think it's a great way to introduce a new artist. If you get an established artist and you get somebody, joining on, you get, say, Dwight Jones featuring, this other person, and this other person now gets some exposure, and then they can, leapfrog off of that and get into their career and get more successful. And get more gigs or whatever else, right?
Yeah, for me, definitely since the pandemic, there over this side, definitely more of a collaborative effort. For me, it even helped me to be able to broaden or make myself available to others, and also work with others. Now, in my early days, a lot of my production work, I basically did everything. I created everything. I will, even if I'm working with an artist, I'll be the person who's directing them. I'll give them vocal development or whatever. And I would say maybe 6 or 7 years ago, I decided that I want to make a concentrated effort to involve other people creatively in my projects. Now, I don't always have the resources logistically or even financially to do this, but wherever I can, I do that now, and I appreciate the element of creativity that other people bring. Although I can play a keyboard part, but this person just has a different approach to it. They have a different vibe. Or I can program some drums, but I can get someone else who can do it, a different flavor, and at the end, it ends up being just a better project. Now, I think for me, the reason I started like a solo sort of thing is because I didn't allow myself to let people into my world in Bermuda creatively, because here I am, I'm trying to become this person myself, but it took a long time, but there is definitely a benefit with collaborating with others, even if you are directing the project. You can allow people the freedom to be themselves, and then if you need to kind of tweak it or shape it, in whatever way you want, that's cool. But I believe in letting that person listen to whatever it is that you are asking them to do, and interpret it the way they feel it, and then express it. You can give them guidelines. Say, listen, I need you to do this. It needs to fit within these parameters. Go ahead and do your thing.
It's amazing what comes when you have a bunch of creatives that are open and willing to listen to one another. There's beautiful music that comes about. And we can miss out on so much when we have this one man syndrome. I'm an island, It's like no man's an island. Listen, we're better together than we are, just trying to do this thing by ourselves. And I have a great appreciation for collaboration, and I get excited because it's always something really, really sweet that comes out of it.
I've never had a problem with collaboration. I think it's a good thing. But, if you look back, say, 20, 30 years, there wasn't the level of collaboration that we see today. And yet there was still some great creative stuff that came out there. And do you think collaboration is almost, or it can be a crutch where it's like, I don't have to be as creative because I can rely on others to add to my creativity?
I don't know. I don't know. I found that collaborating, it ends up challenging you in ways that you didn't think. Like, there are certain things and concepts that I would not even take into consideration had a producer or another writer or another artist, had they not brought it up. I would never have considered it. So I think it's great for growth on everybody's part.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But then you have songs from years ago where, you know, there was a single writer on a song, and now you've got like a dozen people on, and I'm being, you know, perhaps a little sarcastic, but you've got like a whole bunch of people on a song. And I'm thinking with some of the lyrics I've heard on some of these songs, I'm thinking you needed 12 people to write that? Seriously?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I'll tell you, a producer that we work with, we were talking about songwriting and artistry, and we were talking about the lyrics that you hear in this music today, and he was like, these songs, some of these songs, it sounds like these writers were watching Beowulf, you know, they're with the kind of lyrics that they're coming up with. It's like, man, this stuff, like, guys, let's be real here.
I think the term artistry, or even being a writer, is being just thrown around like, you know, irresponsibly,
loosely. I hear you.
Because, you know, just because you can write a song, it doesn't mean that you're a good songwriter. Some of the thought.
Say it again.
Yeah, some of the thought process that goes into writing lyrics or even writing music is very shallow, and it doesn't. It's whereas it's not from a genuine place. It's just from like a task. Someone says, okay, just go and write me this email. Just write an email about my experience with A, B, C, and D. This person can go, oh yeah, I'll just go ahead and do it. It won't be as passionate as if the person that actually had the experience, even if it didn't make sense in the beginning, like they'll be able to write it from a place of like a deep feeling because they experienced it themselves. I think a lot of times, now, mind you, you do have people that can take a situation and they can make you feel it, but there are others that are just writing. They're just writing rhymes. And you may as well just call it a nursery rhyme because that's what it is. It's just a few words that rhyme. And even musically, there's a lot of music that's being produced with the person writing the music or creating the music with just them in mind. They have not thought about the fact that there is a singer that needs to fit into this composition somewhere, and they need space. They need to be able to fit their words and their phrases creatively into this space that I should leave them, but I haven't.
It's interesting you say that, Dwight, because I've always believed that if you're a very good songwriter, it doesn't mean you're necessarily an artist. You could write great songs, but maybe you're not the person to sing those songs.
Right.
And so,
True.
you know, like, I think there's songwriters out there that think they need to perform or record their own music. And I'm of the belief, and you know, taking what you said there and you know, jumping off of that a little bit and saying that, you know, you could be a great songwriter, but maybe you should get somebody else that's going to take that song that you've written to the next level, because you won't be able to do it. And then you'll be scratching your head thinking, why hasn't this song taken off?
Yep.
Right.
You know?
Yep. Right. Exactly.
The right person wasn't on it.
Yeah.
100%.
And can I throw something else out? I can't believe I'm saying this. I'm going to have people shoot me and you know, say a lot of bad things about me. But you mentioned you mentioned a word, and the word was shallow. And if I can just make this bold statement about, you know, people, like, you know what, if I want to go on my social pages and put a job description of myself as influencer or content creator, because I wrote that on there, doesn't make me an influencer or a content creator. Like, come on, people.
If you have on brown pants and a green shirt, maybe you should not be saying I'm a tree.
Yeah.
Maybe,
You know what I'm saying?
maybe a UPS driver, but that's about it.
Yeah. It's these titles. I mean,
my gosh.
everything is so easy for the average person to do. So we all have access to everything now.
Yes.
So you can oh, today I woke up today. Oh yeah, I'm a producer, and I'm a producer. Okay, yeah, I just say yeah, I'm a producer. Okay, what is that? And what? Tell me what you do when you produce music. Yeah, I make beats. Yeah, well, making beats is not production. That's making beats.
But they might be an expert at creating beats, though, right?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but it takes a producer to be able to take all of those elements and make it work. To make the right decisions. What sounds the best? How you should where this fits in. No, take that part out. Make the hard decisions, because it can't be about the person just because they made a beat. You're a producer now. Yeah, anybody could make a beat, but how are you going to let someone go in the studio and sing the whole song off key and just leave? How you going to do that? And you're calling yourself a producer? No.
Right.
So it's all these terms and titles that people wanna take, and it's just not a fact. I mean, I've heard so many people say that. Oh yeah, I'm a producer. Well, really, you're a DJ. You're nothing against DJs, but because you play music and you talk over the mic, that doesn't make you a producer. You're a DJ. Take that and earn it. Earn that thing, because I'm not a DJ. I can't DJ.
Right.
It's an artistry. It's a craft. All in itself. But and this goes across the board, man. You got people that are rapping, and okay, you're throwing some words together, but I wouldn't call that rap. That's just you're just talking, and what you're saying.
Some spoken word or something.
Yeah, that's.
Wait, can I go a little further?
Go ahead.
How's about the successful artists that all of a sudden are lead pastors? Sorry. Did I go there?
Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I think having qualifications has a lot to do, whether it's you being an artist or a songwriter or a musician, having some credibility behind what you do says a lot. And it's the same thing, like you say, if I almost think, and again, I'm going to shoot myself for this, but I almost think that when you're how do I say this nicely? If you're washed up as an artist, become a pastor, because it's a great paying job into retirement. I don't know. Did I just shoot myself saying that?
But it's happening. It's happening all over the place. And it's like, wait a minute. Because you have a following or you have an audience, did God call you to shepherd a flock? Or did he, it's...
That
that's
doesn't
one
sound
of the
like
things
a calling.
that kind of gets...
It's not a calling, it's a salary.
Yeah.
Oh, well, everybody wants a stable income, right? So that's what they're doing. Are you knocking them? Are you knocking them, Aisha?
No, I'm not knocking them.
She's making. It's not a criticism. It's just an observation.
Just an observation.
It's an
absolutely.
observation.
Yes, absolutely. Dwight,
awesome.
Dwight, let's get back to you moving to the UK. You basically finished everything that you could foresee yourself doing in Bermuda, which is just crazy thoughts right there. But what are you doing now in the UK? What is different? How have you raised the bar or raised the ceiling in your life as far as what you're doing career-wise?
In the UK, when we kind of got a slow start. We were just trying to feel our way around just to see where we kind of fit in. I'm talking about my wife and I. So we started off with having a studio. It was a bit bit difficult kind of get clientele in based on, number one, our location. We were new to the UK, but my wife is an artist as well. So we persevered. You know, we did some recordings and, you know.
Sound the alarm.
Yeah. So over the years, we've, you know, kind of established a pretty good network of DJs, sound systems, you know, radio personalities that will be featuring her music and also engaging services. Then COVID came and unfortunately, we had to close our studio. We just couldn't afford to keep it open. So since that, you know, we haven't done a lot of recording, but I'm still producing music for other people. Not a lot, but over these last 3 years, I've been working toward legacy. When I say legacy, I mean I'm at the point now where my desire, and I know that, you know, this is well within, you know, my purpose, is to teach others what I do and how to do it. So I'm in the process of developing a specific music training programs focused on authentic reggae music. It's a you know, very small niche, but what I do is very specific. There are a lot of people that they create reggae music, but I want to be able to maintain its authenticity, the sound, the feeling that it gives you. And I want to show other producers how to do that. So I'm in the process of developing that curriculum, which will be available online, hopefully later this year. But I do a lot of mentoring, and coaching. I still have people that I coach personally in their music production aspirations, or even engineering and live streaming. So it's more of a coaching perspective or journey that I'm on now versus a creative one. Although I'm still creating along this journey.
Yes, you are.
Yeah. Yes, and Aisha knows, she knows 100%. That's what I'm doing as well. I still am creating.
Dwight just produced a reggae track for me, James, and it's fire.
I was gonna ask what the connection was there.
Yeah, well, Aisha and I, we go way, way, way back. We don't care to mention the number of years, but Aisha and I go way, 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 way back.
That's for sure. For indie days.
Yes. So this, I mean, for Aisha to contact me to get involved in this project, that was a huge honor. Trust me, because I heard there are very few people in this entire world that move me with their artistry or their ministry, right? I'm not a person that's easily impressed, and I don't say that I don't look to be impressed at all, but there are few people that stand out, and Aisha's one of them.
So what you're saying, Dwight, is...
No.
Dwight,
give me a hug, a cyber hug.
Dwight, what you're saying, if I can just clarify, what you're saying is of all the people you know, Aisha's one of them.
Yes. That's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah, okay. Sorry, just kind of summing things up there.
Yeah,
funny.
Listen, Dwight, thanks so much for hanging with Aisha and I today. I really enjoyed chatting with you.
Thank you so much. I really enjoyed myself. And, don't hesitate. You guys need me back to talk about anything. Hey, just reach out.
Sounds great.
Absolutely.
All right.
Talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Faith Strong Today's Between the Grooves podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, would you consider sharing it with your friends? Rating our podcast or giving us some love on your socials to your amazing friends and followers will only help us reach more people. We'd also love to hear from you and share your feedback in an upcoming episode. Send your video or written message to Aisha and James on Facebook or X at Between Grooves and on Instagram at Between Grooves Pod. Or email us anytime, hello@faithstrongtoday.com.